that shit.
Welcome to Trash Talk MMA.
Smile on my face, behind my back, and talk trash.
The #1 podcast for news and insight that matters in the world of mixed martial arts.
I don't want to hear it.
Brought to you live and unfiltered from all four corners of the globe by MMA aficionado Antoine Peltier.
Yo, and welcome to the Trash Talk MMA podcast. I'm your host, Antoine Peltier, with my very special guest today, the head of AKA Thailand, Mr. Blair Speers, and of course, UFC welterweight contender Mike Swick. Blair, Mike, how you guys doing?
Good. Doing great. Really good.
Yeah. Excellent. Mike, I know you just got back from San Jose?
Yep. Yeah, I just got back.
Okay, well, yeah, your fight was announced, UFC 189 against Alex Garcia.
Alex
Garcia. What took you to the United States?
Us, family, and let's do some training. I actually had another baby girl, so.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. So, went back for that and spent time with the family, and then training at AKA.
Okay, so your family's not out here with you then?
Right. No, not right now.
Okay, so that's challenging. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Yeah, the sacrifice of the job for sure.
Okay, so is that going to be reconciled in some way, or is it that's pretty much the workflow that your family's going to be in the States while you?
No. It's just now because we have the baby.
Okay.
I mean, she's just born, so when she gets old enough, she'll come.
All right. Okay, Blair, you're a veteran of the Phuket. You've been around here over 20 years.
Yeah, I've been here for a while.
Okay, well let's delve into your past a bit. Blair, you have an incredible history in Phuket. I know you're an entrepreneur at all sorts of levels, an online marketer, travel and hospitality guru, a former Canadian national champion wrestler, philanthropist. But let's get into what brings you to the here and now, which is mixed martial arts. Explain your passion and your background in martial arts.
Well, I started wrestling at a very young age, and I was always excited about combat sports and martial arts in general. It was something that was always kind of tugging at my heart, and there just wasn't things available back when I was wrestling, in this type of sport. I wanted to be involved in something like the UFC. It was something that I was always thinking about, but obviously there just wasn't anything there. Back in 1992, 91, when the first UFCs came out, that was kind of the first glimpse of maybe there was an opportunity.
Was that like 94?
Yeah. Was it 94?
UFC 1 was 94.
Was it? Yeah, it was the early 90s, and at the same time when I saw that, it was such a brutal event, and really didn't really have any. To me, it didn't have any connection to the sport itself that we have today. So it wasn't something that would be interesting at that level. For me, it's always been about sports and competing at the highest level. So for me, I believe that this sport is the greatest competition between two people on the earth, mentally and physically. And that I've kind of gone past the age to be able to compete in any way. And that I use those same types of, that love of competition in the business world over the last 16 years. And I really missed the opportunity to be able to be involved in the sport. So that's basically, how it's gone down. I found that I had an amazing chance to meet Mike. I was a fan from the very beginning, and then when I got to know him, I became a big fan of him as a person. And it just made sense that we'd come together and I would get back into some form of combat sport. I follow the sport very closely as a fan, but also as a technician, the types of moves, the types of techniques that are used, the evolution that we see in today's sport and how it's changing.
Yep.
It fascinates me, so I follow very closely.
So as an outsider looking in at the operation here at AKA Thailand, it really seems like this place needed the two of you to come together and into what it is today. Mike, what was your approach? I mean, you've been training in Thailand for years. What was the real spark? What was the void that you wanted to fill with this operation, and how did it come together, especially with meeting Blair?
That's the reason it came together. As you know about his accolades in business and being in Phuket, but he knows so much more about the sport than even I know. As far as the fighters and training and where they're from, and he knows every aspect of the sport and who fights, where they fight from. So. He definitely has a lot of knowledge. Yeah,
sure.
More knowledge than I have.
Yeah.
He tells me what fighters are from where and how they train and stuff. So, finding someone with his accolades in business and being experienced in this area where it's very difficult to do business, and then having that fight passion as well was just, it was kind of like a destiny, I think. I mean, it was kind of natural for me.
Who reached out to who? I love this story because it was almost like you must have been like, damn, this is what this place needs to be, and I need this type of person who has these type of attributes. And you must have been like, oh, I'd love to get involved with this sport, but I need somebody with Mike's type. How did that come together?
Well, I just sold my company. It's a prolonged sale, so it took a long time to sell my business.
Yeah.
And during that time, me and Mike just became friends, and it wasn't a situation where Mike approached me or I approached Mike. Just that we really got along, and I saw him struggling because it is difficult to create any business here. And I've helped a lot of people on the island build their businesses. Been involved with a lot of businesses here, so I really understood the struggles that he was going through, and I was trying to throw him a little bit of advice here or there, maybe give him a bit of a hand if he needed some connections at all in any way. And just as things moved along, I just saw this guy with this work ethic that I think you see a lot in successful MMA fighters. You do see a real incredible work ethic. That's usually what brought them to that success in their sport. And Mike has that in spades. I've never seen a guy work this hard. I remember when I started my company in the very beginning, I was working 24-hour days. It was just, I was focused on trying to make this thing happen. And Mike had the same passion. And so I thought, man, I can remember when I was in his position, he was much more mature and knowledgeable about his business than I was. There was no real knowledge about online businesses back then. So for me, it was a lot of exploring, working hard, learning. But for Mike, he came to the table with just his vast knowledge of all the gyms that he'd been to and participated in probably the greatest gym in the world, AKA, for so many years, been a core member of that team. And I was just a massive fan of AKA. And I was also a big, massive fan of Tough One.
As we all were.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So it was just kind of like, hold on a second here. This is a guy I can trust. This is a guy that works his tail off. This is a guy that knows what he's doing and what he wants. And it's very similar to the things that I would like to be involved with. Like this is.
You just didn't see any holes in the game.
Didn't see anything. I needed to get in shape. I've been sitting behind a desk, tapping on a keyboard for 16 years, and I thought this would bring the physicality out of me a little bit better, and I'd be able to maybe do some training, maybe get in shape. And Mike was always trying to push me to get my health better and to try and lose weight and to try and get involved with the gym more or get involved with the building of the gym more. And so for me, it was just wow, all these things that I need in my life today can kind of come together. I can continue that business.
It's an interesting way to frame it, that you're just like, that's kind of weird too, because I came out here to travel and really get in shape last year as well, and to do some martial arts. And one of the reasons why I wanted to launch my podcast out here, as we were discussing before we started recording, was it's a gold mine of UFC talent, of Bellator stars, ONE FC guys. I mean, there's tons of great gyms, tons of great trainers, people coming in, people coming out, seminars. It's just it's a gold mine of talent for something like this. But at the same time, I was also like, I like the lifestyle. I like just wearing the same shorts and the same t-shirt for a few days, jumping on a scooter with no helmet and getting down to the beach in 10 minutes and getting your food in 5, and renting a scooter with, if you show them a passport and you walk away, there's none of that sort of that regulated, rigid, Western regulated society that just wears you down. And on top of it, you can stay healthy and train out here, eat good. So to me, it's a compelling environment in that it sort of hits all the notes that I want for my life. I mean, you've been out here for 20 years. It's obviously hit a bunch of notes that you want in your life. You've been coming out here for how long, Mike, 10 years?
Yeah, I've been in Phuket since 2008, back and forth.
So, it's interesting.
But Thailand, 2000, so 15 years back and forth to Thailand.
So what about your other teammates at AKA? Do they like coming out here? Do they have the same sort of outlook on it as you do? Or because you obviously just said, I'm going to go do this and did it. Everybody's still back in San Jose doing their thing there. Has anybody said, damn, you went and did it?
Yeah, they all did. I mean, well, the thing is, like, Bob Cook is the funniest. I was just talking to him the other day, Crazy Bob Cook, one of the head trainers at AKA, and he's been there as I've came back for like 5 years now, trying to build this gym. So he's kind of seen after every fight I go to Thailand, every chance I get, I go to Thailand, and it took a long time to get this thing done, because as Blair said, I had a lot of pitfalls, and it's really tough to do business here. So I failed multiple times and struggled and just kept doing it and kept trying, and then it worked out now. But so he kind of saw me leave and come back so many times, and it sucked going back because, man, I had no updates. After a couple of years of doing that, everyone, including the team, was like, "Where are you going, man? Like, what are you doing? Are you just hanging out there? Are you really doing this?"
Well, because a lot of people do come out here and just hang out and just train.
But I was working. I was everything that happened that fell through or that was a struggle has helped make everything good now, you know, because I learned stuff. But going into the question a little bit more, yeah, the guys are pumped about the gym. Like they're stoked to come out here. None of them have really came out to try to work or to try to do their own thing.
Yeah.
But the guys at AKA, Luke's been here and he loves it. And
he's coming out for your camp, right?
Yeah, he's going to try to come out after the Machida fight. Khabib's coming out.
Yeah.
So the guys are excited about it. They follow it, you know. So it's good to have those guys come in after all the work I've done, and they've seen me, you know, be gone so long.
Well, and it's cool. I mean, they can just come out here in total confidence that, okay, we're gonna go there, we're gonna get shit done. Like,
absolutely.
You know, they're not gonna be caught up in any bullcrap. You know,
right.
they know exactly that the standard that's been established there has been established here. So I think once that starts happening, that's gonna attract a wealth of people here, because then you've just got a lot of star power, a lot of celebrity power, and a lot of seminars, a lot of, you know, special guests coming through. And I think, to me, that's one of the things that I love about being out here in Phuket and training and talking with you guys is just this flux of interesting people, you know, that are all professionals in the martial arts industry. You know.
I think that you see that, you know, in the past, the AK brand itself, AK headquarters in San Jose, it opens its doors up to to fighters from all gyms, you know, from gyms from all over the place. And certainly that's what we want to be part of too. We're obviously AKA, it's our core, but we expect to have fighters from lots of different gyms coming here, working together and training, just to, you know, to build our fighters that we have in our fight program, to help with our sparring, to deal with, you know, with Mike's camp. So this gym is AKA Thailand, but we're open to the planet Earth. You know, that's it.
Yeah, and I mean, I talked to Adrian and to Francisco, you know, last week, and I sort of touched on that with them, and maybe you can enlighten me a little bit more. But because I've never been to AKA in San Jose, but this place is such an open door spot. All these gyms out here where you can come train, it's just really anybody's welcome to come through. Can any Tom, Dick, and Harry walk into AKA in San Jose and train?
Yeah, I mean, it's a normal gym, so you would just go in and pay. The difference is it's a gym like most in America, where it's mostly the locals in that area, right? So it's mostly your people that are down the street, they live close by. They do get fighters that come in, you know, that come in and train full time to pursue fighting, but the majority of their students and guests are just, you know, the locals. Whereas here, it's a destination gym, and the world is kind of our subdivision. You know, we wanted to create the best gym with the best curriculum, which I've seen, you know, over a decade, build champion after champion and star after star in an area where, you know, these people can come from all over, that they don't have this type of level of training or facility in their area, that they can come here. And so we welcome everyone to come in and train, so long as they abide by our guidelines and carry the moral code that we have, you know, at AKA.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I think every gym kind of has a philosophical approach. Even out here, you can see there's different vibes in different places, and it'll be interesting to bring over that AKA philosophy, which has bred champions.
What's the curriculum? I mean,
it's
not just
on the wall here. Yeah. It's just a murderer's row of guys, right? Mm-hmm. So Blair, I want to know, now that you're fully invested in this, are you still working other businesses, or is this just your gig now 100% of your time? And
I've got lots of other little things going on, but nothing that I'm managing or I'm working with. This is in fact, over this period of time, I've been trying to commit more and more time, and I think just now certainly as Mike moves into his fight camp, I have to be much more involved, and you know, this is going to be I'll be here from morning till night, you know, every day, 7 days a week now. So yeah, no, this is really my core of everything that I'm doing right now.
Awesome. So let's talk about your fight camp, Mike, because I think you know, the MMA world's pretty excited. A bit of a bombshell. It seemed about, was it 2 weeks ago, they announced that you were coming back, and it's funny because that's right around the time when I was like, I think you even saw my tweet or something like that. I tweeted that I'm at AKA Thailand today. It was the day that your fight was announced. So I don't think anybody really saw that coming. Obviously, people are huge fans of you. Everybody loves your style, the quick finishes, the knockouts. You've never put on a boring fight, but you've been out of action for a while. What's your mind frame right now? How are you taking this fight? What's going down?
Oh man, it's hard to put into words. I'm so excited because, you know, to be here and have this gym now and be doing the fight camp out of it is amazing. I mean, it's a dream come true, and you know, I've trained at the same facility with the same guys for so long, and it's a great team, but to now finally come over here and get this thing built and build it as what I would envision a perfect gym, you know, have everything, and then be able to utilize that for myself in my own fight camp, especially on a card that, you know, this big and exciting. It's the most pumped I've been ever, I think, for a fight. So, you know, I'm the healthiest I've been since I first dropped to welterweight, and so it's amazing that everything's came together, and now I'm actually healthy and I can actually fight and put on the show that I've been wanting to do for 5 years.
So, yeah, speaking of health, I mean, you know, you're a #1 middleweight contender. You dropped down to welterweight. Can you go into some of these challenges that you had with your health and why you're now sticking with welterweight?
I just had esophageal spasm, so it was just like a health condition, and then I had to drop weight. Obviously, I couldn't eat the things I wanted, so I shrunk my size, obviously.
So were these spasms provoked by the types of foods you put in yourself?
But the problem was, for the first several years, they had no idea what was wrong with me. So I was getting misdiagnosed, putting on experimental medications and drugs that were causing adverse effects for training.
Yep.
And then I was so afraid to eat that I was going to have a spasm. I was eating completely plain food, like plain chicken, so it was just a diet that I didn't like. And so my stomach shrank. I wasn't hungry as much because I didn't want to eat food I didn't like.
Yeah, you got scared to eat.
And then I couldn't eat before I went to bed because I would get spasms. So I was like staying up all night, and I was scared to eat before I went to bed. So I was going to bed hungry after training 2 sessions a day, and it was just a horrible time. And then over the course of the time, I was figuring things out and getting.
So how did you figure it out? Like, how did you get correctly diagnosed, and what's the lifestyle choices you have to put into play now?
I ended up going to Cedars-Sinai in Beverly Hills, which is like one of the best doctors for this type of thing, and they've told me everything. They completely diagnosed me with esophageal spasm and gave me the medicine that I needed to fix it. And for the last 2.5 years, I've been just building the gym and literally getting my health back, strengthening my body, and everything is, you know, I wasn't healthy for the last 2 fights, even though I definitely wanted people to think that, and I wanted to go out there and I wanted to have a great fight and do well, but I'm actually healthy now. I mean, I'm 195 pounds walking around. Yeah, I haven't been that size. And I'm small now because I'm training, but I had been walking around bigger. So it's the first time I've had this size and this ability to eat and live since I was a middleweight.
So the health is all good, injury-free?
Yeah, man. Been working really hard, and the body's great. Like,
so you've got your dream camp built now. How is this going to impact your camp for this fight? I mean, obviously you're not going to be able to work here while you're doing it. Blair, you were saying that you're going to have to step things up and kind of almost take over for Mike while he's training. And so what's going to be different here for you now that you've built this camp and the image that you want to for this first fight?
I'm still going to be working, but yeah, you're right. It takes a lot out to do a fight camp. So the focus is going to be that. It's great having guys like Blair and the whole team surrounding me and pulling for me and helping me get this fight, you know, and get prepared. So it's just, I mean, having the fight camp here at AKA Thailand is a dream, like I said. I mean, it's always been the dream to build a gym and then train out of it, but with my health, it was questionable when I was here working on it. And then just miraculously, as we've actually built the gym, you know, it's gotten better. So it's gonna be a lot of work.
You had some fantastic results though training out of AKA in San Jose. What do you think you'll do different in your camp here that you wouldn't have done there, for example?
Man, we have everything you need. I mean, we put our efforts into this gym to make it the best in the world. So
do you mean from a facility perspective, it's more comprehensive than what you have in San Jose? Or?
I mean, the curriculum that we have at AKA is not based on any specific person or trainer. It's based on the work ethic and how we work, how we grind, how we push each other. We can do that here ×2, you know, and the facilities, we got more facilities, we got an entire Muay Thai program helping with striking, and the guys are great. I mean, the talent here is amazing. I mean, I've gotten ready for a lot of my fights with guys that may not be named guys at AKA, you know, just guys that were hard workers and grinded and let me do what I needed to do. We have those guys here, plus some of the most talented guys I've ever trained with, as far as wrestling and boxing and jiu-jitsu, and, you know, just a big mesh. Another thing about Thailand is the food. You know, we have a full-scale restaurant on site, and you know, I take a big part in making sure that the food's the best. You know, healthy. It's great for your recovery. You know, we have food great for your pre-workout. You know, so I've never had all these things perfect and in line.
So you can just live and breathe your whole camp.
I can just do everything that I need to do for a fight camp. This is going to be for sure the best fight camp I've ever had. I mean, I've never had this ability.
That's cool. I mean, it sounds like a real bucket list item for you here. Like, it's going to be quite a win or lose. It's going to be I mean, a real bucket list moment for you, right? Like, I mean, all
Absolutely.
these years coming out here, training out here, setting up this project, the thing's tangible, you're open for business, people can come in. Sounds like a really exciting time.
Well, difference in this fight compared to my other fights is, like you said, I was a contender at middleweight and then one fight away from the championship fight at welterweight. There's always been a level of like contendership and ranking and where you're at, and I've always been trying to please everyone and keep this rank and fight for the title and do all this. Whereas right now, I'm fighting this fight for me and to go out there and have fun. You know, I've worked so hard to get where I am in the UFC.
But that really resonates from how you're describing this, because I mean, you've been out of the game since December 2012. So right. I mean, obviously, to you, where does that place you in the welterweight division of the UFC? I mean, you need to reintroduce yourself to a lot of fans. I mean, since then, there's a bunch of people have come in.
But this is the best Mike Swick you're ever going to see.
Yeah,
that's a guarantee.
This is a happy me that's fighting because I want to fight, enjoy it, and I want to go out there and I want to have a good time, and I want to leave everything out there, every fight, not worry, not stress about anything. I have no doubt it's going to be one of my best fights, and I'm not just saying that. Like, I literally watch this camp, and you'll see.
I'll be here.
You'll see.
Sure. Now, what do you know about Alex Garcia? What's your plan for Alex?
Oh, he's a great fighter. I was excited to get this opportunity to fight on the biggest card, obviously UFC 189, and against a good opponent, a really tough guy.
Do you know if you're going to be on the main card or not?
No, I don't think so. I don't know what. There's two different shows. You got the prelim show on Fox, then you got the main card on pay-per-view. So I don't know the details. I just know I'm on the card, and I was happy to get there. It's a big show, and
yeah, there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on that one, regardless.
Absolutely.
Regardless, that's a great way to reintroduce yourself. No, I mean, that's crazy. It's funny for us to think like this. Like, you know, we're fans of everybody on The Ultimate Fighter 1. You were on that. I mean, almost everybody on that show became somebody in the UFC. I mean, there's a few that didn't, but I mean, heck of a lot of talent on that. And that must just seem like ages ago for you, man.
Yeah, but you know, like I've been training now, getting ready. I went and trained at AKA headquarters with Luke and Khabib and all those guys the last couple of weeks, and then back here, and like I feel outstanding. Like between because all the medicine I was on, it affects your whole body, right?
It's terrible.
So there's the getting old, but like you see that, you know, the guys that I've seen that get old and like they're kind of past their prime, you do see that in fight camp. I think as a fighter, you don't recognize it yourself, but your trainers definitely do, and your sparring partners definitely do, and the people training you definitely see it in training, right? And it's not here, man. Like I am definitely. I feel great. Like this is the happiest and best I felt in my entire welterweight career. We're talking like 8 years, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, Mike runs our MMA training program here. He's the head of the program.
Obviously. No, that's why I was wondering. Like, when you get into, because your camp's going to last what, 2 months?
12 more weeks.
Right? So have you started?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, because you started back in the States. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you have 12 more weeks, and that'll give you how much time before?
But he's been running the training camp for over a year now. I mean, he's been training every day through that process, staying in shape, keeping his strength and conditioning in place. So as he moves into this camp, which he's doing right now, he's already kind of built that base. That's why I went back to headquarters there, performed well over there. He's coming here, and now he's going to be. I've been watching him throughout this process, and I'm watching his speed. The main thing is speed. We talked about age, but his speed is there, and
that's
it is
your
impressive.
Signature move, right?
Yeah, Mike Swick, right?
Exactly.
I mean, this guy's got the speed still. I've been telling him all along the line. For me, I was not concerned about him fighting again, and that I don't
think anybody was, but it's awesome to see how much excitement's been generated about this fight announcement. I think it's really a testament, like to your qualities as a fighter and why people want to see you fight.
Well, he wants to be the best Mike Swick that's ever been, and then that's the difference. Is that after a year of training like this, and then competing and this grueling sparring that the AK is known for, and he realizes, hey, listen, man, I'm still there. I feel good, and I'm getting healthier, and I'm eating better, and I'm feeling more comfortable with myself. Let's do this. That's kind of where I think where he's at.
I mean, what's interesting too is, by taking the time off to heal these diet issues or these how would you say it, esophageal issues. Mm-hmm. I mean, you've probably really healed your body too, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, to take that much time, there's very few fighters that actually take 2-3 years to really heal up, and you must feel like $1 million right now.
And focus on the things I need, There was no pressure. I had no fight book, so there was no pressure. When you're in fight camp like now, you're training hard 2 times a day. So your priority is hard training, cardio training. You obviously work on your technique, but the priority is hard training. So in this time that I've had building the gym and working this program, I've got to work on all the things that I needed, all the holes in my game that I've never had time to stop and fix, you know, like for my fights, especially as welterweight, I would go through my hard fight camp training and then I was gone. You know, I was here trying to build a gym after every single fight. So all my free time, I was working here and training, but not really working on every single hole of my game and you know, redeveloping things and just changing things and like I've been able to do that and train with all this wonderful group of people that's been coming through here from all different walks of life and styles and countries, and they have so much talent. I've been able to really see, you know, what I can improve and how I can improve it, and have done that. So I've filled so much of those, you know, those gaps and those holes, and now I've stayed in shape and I'm in good shape now. I got 13 full weeks of training. I have so much more knowledge and information and technique, and then I haven't lost the speed and power and strength. So it's like, in my mind, it just seems like it's going to be an amazing fight for me.
And you've probably just gained such an overall awareness in life at so many different levels.
Well, there's confidence, right? I've lost a little bit of confidence in my body and my abilities through this health crisis, and the stress of that. The stress alone drives you nuts, right?
That must be such a scary, daunting feeling to enter into the UFC's octagon and not feeling like your body can hold up.
When having big fights, like my last 2 fights were on Fox, you know, and both of those fights I walked at weight at 170, and it wasn't because I wanted to. That's a scary thing, and when your trainers are afraid, that's not a great thing either, right? And they see me putting myself through this and going through all this, and I see in their eyes that they're worried, and it was just a big stress. It was horrible, man. It really was. So now it's like that's completely gone, and like Blair's came in and helped so much, and we've done this gym, and the stress in my life has just been relieved, and I can focus and.
Thing is looking at that though, I mean, the beauty of it too is that you've now created something for the long-term future for yourself. Maybe in some years where you would have just kept fighting, training, getting injured, this and that, you know, you could have really worn yourself out on a lot of levels. I mean, you probably look around and not everybody on Tough One is in the situation that you're in now, that you have a world-class gym in the, you know, in the dream resort of your life, that your health is back, that your mind is right, that you're surrounded by all these incredible people that have helped you build this place. I mean, you know, I chatted with Adrian and Francisco, and they're amazing too. I mean, this is really the product of a lot of great people, and it took a lot of time, you know? So for you to be in that position, it's great. Now you feel like you can fight and kick ass correctly and do it with confidence, being healthy, so you're probably gonna accelerate that momentum and those results, and even if it doesn't, you fall back into this place and you can do this for the rest of your life. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think it's really important that our team steps up through his fight camp, make sure that there is no pressures, or, you know, business is pressure too. You know, we've got to create a business here, right? You know, but that's something that we really want to pull away from Mike's shoulders. I think he's been actually carrying that quite well over the last year and a half, but now I think it's time where he has to really focus on being, you know, that ultimate athlete. He needs to get out there and kick some ass in 189.
Yeah.
So we've had meetings about this. We're going to step this up, making sure that everything is taken care of, that he goes home and sleeps, you know, well. We're the ones that have to worry about any of the small issues around the gym. He's still here. He's still, you know, everything that gets done in this gym has to go through Mike. He is the CEO of the gym. Yep. He makes decisions at every level. But we're gonna really try and back him. I think that's part of the job of our administration here, to make sure that he's clear to fight, he's ready to go, and these things are out of his mind. I personally want to be a big part of his fight camp. I will be, and we'll be, you know, going through his videos, looking at strategies, working together with Javier Mendez back in San Jose. So we plan on having an amazing strategy. We plan on having an athlete at his peak, and we plan on winning, you know, UFC 189 as a team.
See how great of a partner is it?
Yeah, that's true.
You mentioned you going through the tape. Do you have a particular expertise at analyzing fights and strategizing fights?
You know, I think Conor McGregor said it best there when he talked about the study of the movement of the human body. You know, I think that with wrestling background, I wrestled pretty at a pretty reasonable level. You know, until I was injured, and then I came here. Actually, came to Thailand right after I finished wrestling. So I've been away from it for a bunch of years. But picking up from that, I understand everything. You know, center of gravity, placement of the feet, the movement, where you're generating power, whether it's from throwing a punch or throwing a person, whether it's a judo throw, whether it's any form of wrestling movement. We know that wrestling is really the key base, I believe, still in mixed martial arts. But one of the great things about mixed martial arts today is what we're seeing is this real push for Muay Thai. We're seeing it. We're seeing it in all the last 5, 10 UFC events where every second word is Muay Thai, Muay Thai, Muay Thai. It's excitement, but it's also power, offense and defense. I think that it's, once you start being able to stop these takedowns, I think Muay Thai becomes such a larger part of the sport. We take a look at traditional boxing. It's so limited. I love the traditional boxing as far as footwork goes, but Muay Thai brings to the table, the 8 limbs. And when you combine that with an MMA program, with a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu program, with world-class wrestlers that we have training here, and you put that all together, I think that this is just a perfect scenario for anybody in the world that wants to come train here, but certainly for a fight camp that we're going to put Mike through. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy, and I'm sure, Mike, you must have an interesting approach on this. Like these younger guys now that are coming up, and they get to come start at a place like this. That must be wild. I mean, at what point do you feel that you combined all the different arts correctly as an MMA fighter?
Well, we built it from experience as being a fighter, right? So, I mean, like, I ideally set out to build the perfect gym, like the dream gym that I would have loved to have had when I was coming up, Yeah. So what I'm trying to do with Blair here is give these guys the opportunity that I never had to be able to come through here and get this level of training in this part of the world at a place like Phuket where it's very cheap to live, very low stress, like you said. You can go to the beach. You can there's so it's a perfect environment. So these guys have it made.
Big neighborhood.
The guys that come in here have it made, man. I mean, they can come in here and focus on training. Not have to deal with all the money stress and the
I think he feels jealousy.
That's actually sort of what I was. That's sort of what I was pointing out. I was like, when in your career do you feel that you became a complete mixed martial artist, and you had to go through the different disciplines in a disconnected way? Here you're provided in such a comprehensive, integrated way. Yeah. So it's like, I mean, the guys coming up nowadays, they get the opportunity to come to places like this. It's just, I can only imagine the type of guys you're going to crank out of here.
There's guys that we have coming in, like our really big prospects, and they get to come here and train full time, and that's it. They have a place to eat on site. We take care of their management, the promotion, marketing, setting up interviews, doing all the things that I had to do myself. Like I was on MySpace answering people's messages, and like trying to do interviews and set things up and then train, and you have to market yourself as an individual as much as you have to train, right? You have to be marketable and you have to be a good fighter to make it in the sport. So we're trying to take as much out of the fighters' hands as we can so that they can focus on what they need to do, which is fighting.
They still need to
get it, but we do it for them.
So how come you're good at promoting yourself like that? Like, what is it about social media? You're very present on social media. You have your own YouTube channel. Not a lot of fighters aren't present in that capacity in the public eye like that. You seem to really get it, and that seems to be a huge part of what's going on here. It seems like Francisco, he even helps the fighters, establish their accounts, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all that. You understand the importance. Does that come from just being in the UFC and then being such a promotional juggernaut? At what moment did that resonate with you that it's super important to promote yourself?
Honestly, the person who taught me the most about the importance of social media and stuff like that is Dana White. Like when I got on Ultimate Fighter, we did a big press tour with Dana and we had to do a lot of media stuff. And it really started to resonate with me about how important it is and what social media has been able to do, especially since Ultimate Fighter, right? With Twitter and Instagram and all the newer social media outlets. It puts you closer to the fans. And the fans are why you fight. The fans are the reason you fight, and where you get it, how much you make, and whatever success you have is because of the fans. And then, in retrospect, you can also help them back, right? And inspire and give opportunity and give them what they want as far as your attention and your feedback and taking them to places where they aren't, in their business, in their cubicle. You take them and show them what life's like in Phuket, or, they have a chance to come and train and do this. So I just realized the importance of it, and it's important for me. Hearing from the fans, especially on social media, it's inspiring for me, and it makes me feel good about what I do, and then vice versa. It makes me feel good to be able to help them and make their day better, or create opportunity, or create something. It just puts us together, and it's so important.
Yeah, it's a very tangible level of rapport.
Absolutely. I don't want to hide behind something and have people do stuff. What I mean? It's good to be in touch with the people who care about you and your career.
So before we check out, who in the camp, who's fighting here that you guys are really excited about? Who are some of the AKA Thailand sponsored fighters that we should be on the lookout for?
We have Bonsai working on a fight now. He's a UFC fighter. Yeah.
Yep.
Right in the office. Our first UFC win. We have Sol Palili coming back soon, our team captain.
Yeah, I just revisited his record.
Not bad.
He's a frightening dude.
Very underrated.
I mean, it's just TKO, 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 TKO.
He's knocked out something like 16 of his last.
I think he has 16 KOs and 2 submissions, never won by decision.
Yeah.
And not only that, he's a great guy.
He's a super nice
and he's fantastic in public. You talk about social media. Now that's one of the greatest fighters that's ever come out of the UFC on social media, marketing, and he's such a good person, and that's why he's our captain. It's because all the fighters looked up to him immediately. The moment he opens his mouth, everybody's listening, and he really provides that work ethic. That shows that work ethic along with Mike. That's what's part of the fight team. That's why it was very quickly, very simple to make that choice. Mike made that choice. I think that he's a great addition to our team. We've got a bunch of guys that are just about ready to go. We're a young gym, so we're in that development program, right? We do not want to push fighters too fast. Mike spent years training. I'm not talking about Taekwondo. I'm talking about real mixed martial arts training before he ever got in a fight. So I think that there's also an acceleration gap. We see these fighters; they're a little bit spoiled. They get all these different facilities. The sport's growing at such a fast rate. They all want to go so fast. They want to jump into the sport really quickly. Well, we know records are important. Training is important. Your experience is important. There isn't as many amateur organizations that we'd like to see in Asia. I think those are coming as well. So we're in a hotbed right now of change, and in this development program, all of our fighters are just crawling to get out there and get a fight. And we're sitting there knowing that our fighters will be dominant. We've got such a great team of fighters there, but we're just kind of leery about how do we lead them into that next flow. If we start sending 2 or 3 fighters into one promotion, all of a sudden that can just create a flow, and all of our fighters start going into this promotion. Not necessarily we want to do that. We want to be able to control, and that's what Francisco's going to do for us, and part of the fight management. So our team itself is just continuing to evolve and grow and develop under the leadership of Mike, captaincy of Soa, and I'm just it's every day. We wake up in the morning and run to the gym. I mean, that's how it is over here. It is. We just like to be here, man. It's cool.
It's awesome. That's a great feeling. And it seems like you're such an accomplished entrepreneur, Blair. That it's really cool to see that you're so fired up after having done so many projects that probably had you pretty fired up.
Yeah, right? This is the big one for me too. I mean, this is something that when I started my other business there, which was online, selling hotels online, hoteltravel.com. It was a business that was created from nothing. There was nothing that existed in the world, right? It was one of the very first online businesses that sold hotels. But this here is something that's got such a long tradition. Martial arts has been around for hundreds of years. Gyms and dojos and all these places have been around. There's such a, it feels to many people, certainly felt like to me, that there's this kind of like a shell around the entire industry. Like, these are the people that train all their lives, that devote themselves to the sport. Yeah. But once you go in and you realize there is no shell, everybody's so open in this sport. Everybody's. Mike reaches back to the point, in this conversation we talked about who's going to be in our gym and who's going to be training in Muay Thai and BJJ and strength and conditioning. We have set in place rules that people abide by. We've set in place that this is the culture of Thailand that we're living in. This is acceptable behavior and unacceptable behavior. Our plan is to create a gym of respect and brotherhood. And I think that we're well on the way of doing that. We've had to get rid of some people. We've had to bring in others. But our idea right now is to create a really good ecosystem, so that when people come in, they're feeling good. They're ready to train. They're ready to better themselves. I think that's what we're trying to build here. And we're well on our way. I'm very impressed with the progress that we've done here. Blown away by it, actually.
Fantastic. Any last words, Mike?
No, just thanks, man, for having me on, and thanks to everyone out there that supports.
You guys are the busiest men in Phuket. Thank you very much, both of you, for having me in. Just the reception from everybody that I've had coming by here to do the show has been awesome. You guys just have a great team of people. I'm super excited for you guys, and I'm excited that I just had the opportunity to promote your camp and your fight, and I wish you all the best in your fight, man. It's going to be awesome.
Thanks, man. For everyone that wants to follow up, definitely follow us on social media, AKAThailand.com. We're at AKA Thailand on Twitter and Instagram, and then AKA Thailand Gym at Facebook. So definitely follow our social media and see what's going on. Things are really going to start happening here. We're going to do full coverage of my fight camp, full videos weekly, daily as well. So we're going to let everyone kind of see what this is going to take to get ready for this UFC 189 fight.
Yeah, come check it out online.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for your time, guys. This was the Trash Talk MMA podcast. I'm your host, Antoine Peltier, with chairman and co-owner, Blair Speers of AKA Thailand, and of course, Mike Swick, UFC welterweight contender, and now a new business owner. Congrats, buddy.
Thank you, buddy.
Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Trash Talk MMA podcast. Be sure to visit trashtalkmma.com.
On my face, behind my back, and talk trash.
And don't forget to follow Antoine on Twitter at Trash Talk MMA. Let us know you're listening. Use hashtag Trash Talk MMA.